tech background and now transitioning or have transitioned for years in the single family office community about somewhat of an actual office that is more open architecture, no corner offices, we're all in it together. Overrated, underused in a single family office. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny because I will admit I love having an office, but it is not, I love it. I'm going to admit it. But that also shows my age because I see the people, there's one family I consult to and it's Cube. There is so much camaraderie. And if I go and sit in my office, it's not inviting to people. I really think the best companies are more open. And I think you have conference rooms for private calls and meetings in the corners. You don't have this visible hierarchy of the important people in offices, and it's just more flat. I think that also encourages all kinds of other good things in the organization, and people adjust to it. The problem is when you get used to an office, which I'm admitting that I've been used to an office, but really it's so much more social and natural for people to be out there. So I love it. I think the best company, and most tech companies do that. Google does it, for example.
How do you answer when they give a little feedback of, well, I'm discussing private tax information or complex investments, and it may sound—
You go into one of the private rooms and have that. That's why they're there. But for everything else, let's be more transparent.
Exactly, and that's going to be the key part to it. Related to the office environment, and I know how you feel about this, but of course I'm going to ask, very unlike 99.999% of single family offices, but to attract a diverse workforce that gets them motivated and happy and maybe gets a bit of a younger dynamic, things like a dog-friendly office, catered in food for younger people that really don't cook that much, dry cleaning for the health conscious. Besides that, I'm not even done yet. Treadmill desk, things that are just you're used to seeing in the tech world. It's a little out of the norm within the single family office community.
Right. I mean, it's proven. And then, the average age in tech is 31. So if you want to attract young people, and now they all do it, so you have to do it because you won't. I've literally had people when I was in tech negotiate, if I don't get my meals covered, I'm not coming here. That is now considered a given. And but they've also shown that it really works and it helps people focus on the right things. And some things are real. Meals can be pricey. Allowing dogs in your office doesn't really cost anything. And they've shown it makes people happy. It actually makes people interact more because they talk about the dogs. I love it. I think it's great. And you have to have a policy and dogs have to be behaved. But I have had a few cases where people are terrified of dogs. And even an auditor who was coming in was terrified. And the people whenever he would go into a common area, people had to move it. I mean, he literally could not be around it, like absolute terror. So you have that to contend with. You could ultimately restrict your hiring pool a little bit. Small, it's not a lot of people, but I think I have a whole slide on like really low cost benefits that have very high impact. And the dog friendly office is one of them. Having an exercise room in the office, having, the desks that move up and letting people have non-traditional spaces. They also feel a sense of empowerment. There's just so many creative things you can do that are, I know some cliche, but some of them really have a lot of impact.